Coming through.
Hi, welcome to another edition to the Pickleball Show with Curtis Reese here, and I'm glad you could join us. Today's guest is a very, very good friend of mine who I've known a long, long time, and he has many accolades on the tennis court and many more to come on the pickleball court with the new facility he's just taking over here in Dallas. I'd like to introduce Zoltan Papp. What's up, man?
Thanks for having me, Curtis.
So, Zoli. May I call you Zoli?
Yeah, you're one of the few.
Of you. Well, introduce yourself to us. Tell about your family, your kids here, or wife, and stuff like that.
So that's a long story, right? I go all the way back. I was born and raised in Budapest, Hungary. You know, already 42 years ago. I married a gorgeous girl who was also from Budapest, Hungary. Growing up, she played basketball as a point guard. I played tennis. We both went to college here. Graduated from Baylor University, and we have two phenomenal kiddos. My son, who fell in love with tennis, of all sports, didn't force him at all. Give him credit. He found his passion. So he's 15 and a half years old. Been playing tennis for 4 years now, and my daughter used to be deep into rhythmic gymnastics and multiple Texas state champion, and now she's really into volleyball, and it's a little bit less than 2 years, and so just came back, finished the 9th in the nation, so super happy for her.
God.
And obviously super happy for my wonderful wife for putting up with the three of us, you know, athletes in the family. we're high maintenance, to say the least, right?
So, you know, Anika is your wife.
That's right.
She's I think she's a lot like my wife, Melanie. She's very numbers and keeps me in line. And I know she probably keeps you in line.
We're lucky, man.
We are.
We were really smart. Lucky them in.
Yeah, one of us was smart. One of us wasn't. Mine wasn't smart for marrying me and having kids, but whatever. No, but so your daughter plays volleyball now, like Anika did in college, and you played at Baylor, right?
Yes.
And tell me about that experience.
You know, it's funny because being in Europe, all I knew that I was going to attend a school in the U.S. I didn't know any differences between the schools. I had, you know, great opportunities to go to UCLA, Pepperdine, Duke, Florida. But I had another buddy of mine from Budapest who's 2 years older than me, and he was already at Baylor. So, of course, he was chewing my ears, like, hey, you got to go here, you got to go here. Well, I didn't know about Waco, or as they introduced me, Wacko.
Wacko it is, yeah.
But believe it or not, coming from Eastern Europe, right, a little bit of that communist leftover. So I'll tell you what, it was almost like a step up. So for me, it was, you know, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. So it was meant to be, no regrets, absolutely fun journey. You know, we happened to win the first Big 12 championship. Although I was not part of the national title team, I was done with my eligibility. I look at it as laying the ground, and then the following year, they won it.
Fuck that. We worked together for a long time at Brookhaven, and we know each other's work ethic, so I know you had a lot to do with that.
No, that's, you know, it stays with the Baylor family, tennis family. So you know, I take a little bit of ownership and pride in it for sure. So
what do you think that was? Do you think that was your pinnacle of your career, of the juniors, or the college national championship? Which one do you think was the pinnacle?
Oh man, I must be a little bit more selfish than that. I think, you know, while that was a great journey, and you know, being part of that, it was fun. However, you know, looking back now, I think in juniors, I traveled quite a bit on the tour, you know, the junior tour for tennis. Played all but the Australian Open in a junior Grand Slams.
Yeah.
You know, have wins over, you know, Hewitt, Seffin, Fernando Gonzalez, some of those guys who are nowadays big names.
Yeah.
You know, having, you know, look back and having the W over them and competing on the same field with them.
Wow.
That was just really special, right? And so for me, selfishly, that was my highlight that I enjoyed the most. And then obviously, you know, being part of the Baylor team and supporting them was the title. That was a big deal. And then after Baylor, you know, got into teaching a little bit. But once we get to that stage, we can talk a little bit more about, you know, I was working as a tour manager at ATP.
ATP, yeah.
That was something like a dream. You know?
No, go ahead. Yeah. So you were the ATP tour player.
So it's called, I guess, the ATP Tour Manager is the title.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's not. It's a player rep, you know, and this person is really the number one point person, liaison for the players, representing the players' best interest. While at tournaments, you have the tournament director who's looking after the best interest of the crowd and then the viewers, spectators, right? And so, you know, when it comes to little things like, you know, whatever might be in the best interest for the tournament may not necessarily be in the best interest for the player, right? So if a player finished playing the finals the previous week, fly in, gets in, you know, Sunday night, midnight, it might be a good matchup. That person playing somebody else, ooh, that's a popcorn first round match. Let's put them, you know, immediately Monday. Well, I'm going to come in and say, hey, we've got plenty of matches for Monday on the first round matches. Let's play this match on Tuesday. So I want to make sure this guy gets his well-deserved rest, you know, jet lag, whatever might be the case. Little things like this, you know. This guy might be a little bit injured. So I go talk to the ATP physio, you know, take their temperatures, ask the player what's going on. And if they need an extra day, you know, I'll try to schedule it accordingly. There's plenty of good matches. So I got to see what's best for the players. Tournament director looks at what's best for the tournament, and then we kind of duke it out.
So in a nutshell, you can get them loaded too, right?
Oh, that's right.
You got to get them beer and all that stuff.
That's right.
You told me that.
That's right. You know,
you really are the best friend.
What can I say?
So the tour out, and how long did you do that again after you left?
So I did that 4 years, right? 4 years. We traveled 22, 25 weeks of the year, so it wasn't that tough. You know, I had the 2 newborn, my son and my daughter, and so it was tough to see them. When I left, they were a little bit sad, but then they went back to their toys playing and forget about daddy, right? I'm the one, you know, flying for 20 hours, get to the next tournament station or a different continent, and then I'm the one crying for 20 hours. And, you know, once I get to the tournament, I get busy, I forget about it, but it was emotional, you know, needless to say, but fun times. Like, I'll give you an example, you know, my son, you know, 6 years old, they come to Miami to the big, you know, ATP 1000 event, and he's got the little credential and badge, and we're walking around the locker rooms and behind the scene in the stadium, and, you know, Andy Roddick coming around and say, hey, dude, give Andy a high five. And he's like, hey, what's up, little dude? Give a high five. 6-year-old has no idea who Andy Roddick is. I'm like, dude, you're clueless. And then Leander Paes, you know, super nice guy. He comes and he's like, hey, I got a brand new wristband. And my son didn't care anything for tennis, right? And he's walking around his big wristband and a happy smile, and like, that guy gave it to me. He wouldn't even remember his name, right? But, you know, little things like that, just super cool experience. And so I think all these little things, while I was not pressuring any of my kids to do my sport, that's their life, their journey. I support anything they do. And it's funny how over the years, for example, my son went into karate, swimming, soccer, basketball, baseball. And then here he is, playing tennis like a maniac.
And he's pretty good from what I understand, right? I get it, yeah.
He wants to be good.
He's good. Well, so the ATP, and then now you did insurance, right? You did insurance for a while, right?
That's right.
I did it with you. Got me to do insurance. I got you your first tennis job.
That's right. Thank you for that.
2004, right?
Exactly.
I remember that.
That was fun years.
Well, so I guess So the cool thing is, so now your new task is doing what? What are you taking over? What facility are you taking over?
Yes, you know, I did insurance for 9 years, and then, you know, over Christmas last year, I had to kind of open my eyes and listen to my heart, and, you know, come to have my own, you know, come to Jesus talk. And realize that I love tennis. I love tennis business and everything that comes with the tennis business. And so I got back into the club business. And, you know, fortunate enough and appreciative enough for an opportunity just down the street here in Dallas at LB Houston, taking over the general manager role, being in charge of the whole facility and all the programming that comes with it, right? And so, and that's where, you know, I got to learn a lot more about this thing called pickleball.
Exactly.
And then it's insane its popularity already, and I see some of the mini. You know, we're in a growth mode, building fundamentals, foundations, and then trying to, you know, grow and build our empire at LB Houston. But I mean, pickleball is a huge element of the big picture. How many
courts are there? 16 or?
We've got 16 tennis courts, and we designated 12 pickleball courts. So
you're giving how many courts of pickleball? It's 12.
So that would be actually 4 courts across the board that we have painted and we have I call them a temporary, right, pickleball courts, and then we actually have the vision and the plan long term to put in anywhere from 8 to another 12 pickleball courts, but permanent ones.
Permanent pickleball courts.
On their own.
Sweet, man.
We have real estate, and with obviously the help of the city, our members, potential fundraisers, I think we can do it, because it's getting to the point where, you know, if you're not doing it, you're missing out.
Yeah, you know, that's my next question was why pickleball, and you answered in the way that I saw it. It was handed to me almost 4 years ago, and I'm like, what the hell is pickleball? And the director at the time was now my friend Jeff Hedges, who really got me into pickleball. I said, is anybody else going to do it? He goes, nope. I said, I'm going to do it. And you know, I'm of the mindset, and my parents always told me the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. So I you know, selfishly, I started pickleball just to play with my dad, because I haven't been on court with my dad since 1997. And it was selfish, but then we started doing more and more. He liked it, and then it just started growing and growing. And I realized there's so many, the social aspect for older people, even to people like us who have been around the block with tennis. You more so than me on the court and off the court. And it's one of those things where we can always add it and see where it goes. And if you're putting in 8 to 10, I mean, call me up. We'll bring vocal to you. Seriously, if you want to telecast a fundraiser, I'll bring some players out there. We can play some pickleball. You know, whatever you want to do.
That's a great idea. We definitely do that.
We'll come out there, right? We're coming to you, Zoe.
I love it.
Seriously, we will.
Listen, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still at the beginning of the journey of learning more about pickleball. But that little I have learned so far, it's tremendous opportunity. You know, I think there's a lot of great aspects to it, a lot of different angles, how you can tweak it where it's mutually beneficial for all parties involved, whether we're talking about the patrons, clients, the club, the coaches involved. Just overall, it's a fresh breath of air for the tennis, the racket sport industry. Maybe I should put it that way. There's great opportunity for coaches who've been coaching tennis for, you know, decades and decades. I mean, you know what? I think key to success for a tennis coach as of right now is mixing things up. You know, teach a private, teach a group, have a drill, have juniors, adults, a little bit of intermediate, more advanced. Throw in pickleball. You know, get that going too, because it's more of a social fun thing. And you actually I take that back, because there are big time prize. I mean, tournaments out there. I just learned it. It's amazing. And so I'm just saying that, you know, in order to enjoy, fully maximize as a tennis coach, your job, I think you got to have a mixture of all. But that's, again, my opinion today. And if you sit down 2-3 months from today, it may change, but that's how I see it right now.
Just a point. Yeah, it could be. When I first started, it was viewed as the amenity sport. Do you have any idea how much that pisses me off when people say that? Amenity sport. That doesn't make sense to me. It's a sport that it gives you exercise, gives you enjoyment, because you get enjoy by laughing and getting to know other people. And when someone said that, I looked at him and said, well, I disagree with that.
Amenity sport. If it gives you any peace of mind, I never heard it. So I'm sure it's in the process of getting phased out and never used again, because it's not.
It's not. It's here, but no,
don't let it get you and bother you.
No, that was just the environment I was in. But now the environment that we all want to work in is one where everybody likes to work together and help each other out. And if someone can't cover something, you cover it. But going back to pickleball, you know, so what do you see yourself doing? Having a full-time or a part-time pro there, or just
Listen, while we have, you know, ability to use 12 pickleball courts right now, I'm not gonna lie to you, we have nobody in charge of pickleball. So maybe lack of a better term, our pickleball program is non-existent. So I'm telling you, actually today, this afternoon, we'll have 2 interviews. So we're definitely looking for a full-time position. We're looking for somebody who has the passion, the drive, understands pickleball. We can help with the business aspect of it. And we just wanna make sure that we find all various avenues where we can provide pickleball as a platform to have fun, whether it's you want to have a workout and break a sweat, where you just want to hit and giggle. There's just so many different ways you can slice the pie.
And I'll help you with that. Obviously, there's something else that I use for a good tool that I'm starting at T-Bar and Rack Club, where I run the pickleball programming. I've started at pickleballbrackets.com. It does its own leagues. It is the most amazing software I've ever seen in my life. And I will have that guy on our show one day too. But I'll give you access to that too. It's pickleballbrackets.com to set up for those 12 courts.
That's awesome.
But it's if I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. So that's how basic it is. But
I don't know about that.
well, so I think that the next thing to do is once you get that person hired, let me know about that. And if you
I mean, I'd love for you to come and we join forces again. Yeah. Lord knows I can't afford you. Not right now.
No. But, well, I guess in this, really quick thing we have here today, because this is a setup to come back, right? You'll come back on because we're going to have you back on.
Yeah, no, I'm here for the next 28 years. I made a commitment.
You're not going to leave and go to a different state.
This is what I'm going to do until I get 70 and then retire.
Well, I'm glad you're doing pickleball, and so people can reach you how? How can they reach you? You can tell them on here if you want.
Yeah, no, LB Houston is our club. Our phone number, email, social media. We're up, so it's very easy to access.
Okay.
Just put in Google, LB Houston.
Do you have an email address? You have an email address? Maybe people could send stuff to you or no?
Oh, they can go directly to me, right? We can have Zoltan at impactactivities.com.
Okay.
We have LB Houston at impactactivities.com. Those are great. So either my staff will pick up in the pro shop on that, or I pick up on my email, and if I'm not available, my email is forwarded to them. So within very reasonable time, we reply. So that's easy. But phone and social media, nowadays it's a quick hit.
Well, this is a pretty short interview because it's one of those things where intro to getting you to come here first of all, but I can't wait to see you in 6 months from now. But for those of you listening today, make sure you check out all the other vocal apps that we have, or sorry, hosts and shows that we have on here. They're all unique in their own various ways. But and like I'm going to tell Zoe to say, everybody, if you're ever even have a remote sniff or a whiff of somebody who might want to play pickleball, just grab their elbow and say, "Come on, let's pickle."
I like that.
Serious. Thanks for coming, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.